So general anti-avoidance rule is in news. We'll see why it is in news, what it is, and everything with respect to UPSC we'll understand for the same. So let's start with the first thing. Why is it in news? Because the Telangana High Court has ruled against a taxpayer who was using bonus stripping to offset losses. And this decision was based, it was the first judgment based on GAR. So before we go on to GAR, we'll understand what is bonus stripping and how he was offsetting losses and what benefit he might be deriving from it. So bonus stripping involves what? Buying shares of a company which is about to issue bonus shares, right? Now how does it work? Let us take for example, Mr. A, it identified a mutual fund X which is about to issue bonus shares. Now what is bonus shares? See, when you invest in a share, you are basically invested in the company. So the company will make certain profits. When you make certain profits, the profits will be distributed among the shareholders. It can be distributed in the form of dividends. It can be distributed in the form of bonus shares. So what is bonus shares? How it is distributed? Let's say if you hold 100 shares of the company can give you 100 more shares for free. So the bonus share ratio could be 1:1. It could be 1:0.5. If you hold, let's say 2 shares, then you will be given 1 share. So in different ratio, the company can issue bonus shares, a way of distributing the profits to its shareholders. So now Mr. X knows that mutual fund X is about to issue bonus shares in the ratio of 1:1. So before that, Mr. A acquires 500 units of that particular fund. Now let's say each share costs 1,000, so total cost would be 5 lakhs, right? Now on the day of the issue of bonus share, he will receive 1 bonus share per unit. So he had purchased total 500, so he will receive 500 more shares. Now when the bonus shares are issued, the price of the share is going to come down. It's very simple, demand and supply of economics. Suddenly the amount of share of that company in the market will double, so the prices will come down, of course. So the moment the prices come down, let's say each share becomes now 500 rupees. What Mr. A does is he sells all the 500 shares which he had got initially. He doesn't sell all, he sells those 500 shares. So when he sells those 500 shares at, let's say, rupees 500 per share, he gets only 2.5 lakh rupees. That means he makes a loss of 2.5 lakh rupees. Clear? Now, the remaining 500 share he sells later after few years at an increased price. Okay? Now the remaining share, remember, which he is selling out at later instance, is the share he got for free. So the share which he got for free, when he sells it at a later instance, let us say at rupees 1500 per share, so he is going to make profit. Now this profit will be the capital gains tax, and this will be charged at only 10%. Okay, so let us understand what is the present status of Mr. A. Mr. A purchased the share at 5 lakh rupees. Then Mr. A got 500 bonus shares, so he sold the shares at 2.5 lakh rupees. So he made a loss of 2.5 lakh, so minus 2.5 lakh, because 2.5 lakh is the loss. But then later instant he would share the 500 shares at, let's say, 1500 rupees per share. So this comes out to be plus 7.5 lakhs. So this totals, presently Mr. A has how much money? He has 5 lakhs. He spent 5 lakhs. He made a loss of 2.5 lakhs, but he got an amount also, 2.5 lakhs. Right? He had spent initially 5 lakhs, so this would be minus 5 lakhs. He made a loss of 2.5 lakhs, but he got 2.5 lakhs in return. So when you are saying made a loss, so we need to just remove this. We need to simply add how much he gets. When he got the share initially, he spent 5 lakh rupees, but when he sold, he got 2.5 lakhs at least back. Okay, so this is plus what he will do is the remaining 500 share, he will sell it at a later instance, so we'll get 7.5 lakhs. So what is the cumulative? Minus 5 lakh plus 10 lakhs gives a total of 5 lakh rupees. Right, 5 lakh rupees. But let us make it more simpler. This 7.5 lakh, there is a capital gains tax of 5 lakh rupees here, because of which 10% interest would be here. So you need to subtract 50,000 from here. Since you subtract 50,000 from here, this will actually become 7 lakhs. I hope this is clear. So this is 9.5 lakhs minus 5 lakhs gives you 4.5 lakhs. So Mr. A is in a net profit of gross profit of 4.5 lakhs, plus he has shown this 2.5 lakh worth of losses elsewhere where he was making profit, so would have got tax reductions. So reduction in taxes. Now just imagine the person is making a profit and at the same time reducing its taxes. So such a huge double impact it is going to have on the revenue collection of the government. I hope this is absolutely clear. Right. Now, what he did is not illegal. Let us understand that. What he did is not illegal. It is completely legal. It is tax avoidance. But the problem is, if your intention is that only, you are having a team of people to work on strategies to avoid taxes, the government will lose revenue, and then the government will not keep silent and will come up with GAR. So let us see what is GAR. GAR is General Anti-Avoidance Rule. It basically authorizes the tax authorities to reject tax advantages. You know, you get tax advantages, you show that here I can get tax rebate, this, that. So GAR is authorizing the tax authorities to reject those advantages. Why? On the basis that it lacks commercial substance and it aims solely to evade taxes. There is no financial motive to do it. You are doing it only to avoid taxes. So we do not accept that tax rebate. That authority is given to the tax authorities under GAR. Now, it was first introduced in 2012, but its provision has been only recently made effective. It is contained in Chapter 10A of the Income Tax Act of 1961. What are the characteristics? The characteristics includes that it creates rights and obligations which are not normally created, right? Transferring share from profit from one company to their own other company, losses from one company to other company. If one company is making too much of profit and the other company is at loss, you transfer a lot of losses to the profit making company so that you don't have to pay taxes for that company, right? Results in misuse and abuse of the provision. Lacks commercial substance. There is no financial reason, business reason to do it, right? It is carried out in a means which is not employed generally for bona fide, for fair purposes. It is an unethical way to do it. So that is why we have GAR, which provides with anti-abusive provision, recently implemented, right? Effective implementation started this year only. Why? This judgment has been made. It has marked the first judgment based on GAR. Now, why was GAR needed? Because see, what they are doing is not illegal, but because of this, because of their aggressive tax planning strategies by corporates, a huge revenue was lost. And other country governments is also already taking certain actions. So India is also taking certain action. It is aimed to address the tax avoidance and to empower the authority to reject such tax benefit claims. But then, what is the issue with it? The issue with it is that it provides discretion. Discretion as in, it is quite possible that I made that transaction based on some business profit motive, but it also coincides with tax avoidance strategy. Now, in this case, what will you do? How will you believe? Whom will you trust? So that is left on the discretion of the tax authorities, right? Now, there is a fear that GAR would discourage foreign investment. When foreigners also invest, they will also think, if I do something for business purpose and they call it as tax avoidance, then what? Or if I want to avoid a bit of taxes, you know, it will restrain them to invest. That is a possibility. Okay. It was considered controversial because and hence there was a demand of proper checks and balances. This is a fair demand. Anything you bring, it is good always to have checks and balances. This is a fair demand. This can be provided. Plus, unreliable and inadequate data is also a major constraint. Understanding is also a major constraint. A business person can see that profit motive, but then if the tax authorities are not able to see. It's not that they are not experts, but again, the matter is about discretion. You would say, okay, no, but it is more so for avoiding taxes, less for financial benefit. But then financial benefit is also there. So how do you judge? That is an issue. So the way forward should be to provide checks and balances, take things on case by case basis. At the same time, as and when judgments start coming, the cases start coming, you need to have a repository from which you can derive the objective definition of whether GAR should be applied or not, so that it is not left on the discretion of the tax authorities. Thank you.